We don't want them. That's what Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is saying, now recommending a full travel ban on every damn country that's been flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies after meeting with the president.
This announcement coming on the heels of the deadly National Guard shooting by an Afghan national who has officially been charged with murder.
Florida Congresswoman and House Oversight Committee member Anna Paulina Luna joins us now. Congresswoman, great to see you. What are next steps to effectuating this policy and in securing the homeland?
Well, Trump could effectively do an executive order, which I think most Republicans and conservatives support, especially being that under President Joe Biden, we know that they let in so many people. Literally, I think millions of people came in illegally. But, you know, it'd be helpful for Congress to actually codify some of these executive orders. Obviously, we had, replenish the supplies, the coffers, if you will, so that DHS could do their job in these deportation efforts. But what's been really interesting to me is that the liberal media will not cover the fact that this individual who shot these National Guards members wasn't illegal. He was a visa overstay. He was poorly vetted by the Biden administration, is a direct result of the withdrawal in Afghanistan. And where there's smoke, there's fire. And so I completely support an overhaul and a revetting of any people that came here under Biden because of this issue.
Representative, I've been excited all day to move into this discharge petition in the hopes of forcing a vote on the bill to ban lawmaker trading stock. When you think about public company CEOs or any board member that's out there, we know that we're all restricted by what's called MNPI, material non-public information, not being able to buy or sell stock with that information. How are you approaching this, and how are you applying that correlation to members of Congress?
Look, we are given access to information that the American people wish they had, because if they did, they would be making bank on the stock market, just like some of my colleagues unfortunately are. There's insider trading absolutely happening in Congress, and yes, I know it's illegal, and that is exactly why there's a bipartisan push to do something about it. But just as there is a bipartisan push to support it, there's bipartisan opposition from within the House of Representatives against it. It's actually overwhelmingly supported by the American people. I believe 85% of Americans, Democrat, Republican, and Independent, all support this. But it needs to stop, and I'm going to do everything in my legislative ability to do so. I promised my constituents that I would, and it's been good to see the bipartisan support from the outside in on this issue.
So what are the odds here, Congresswoman, you officially filing a discharge petition, but where do we go from here, and how quickly could this go potentially to a floor vote?
Well, this is now up to the members on whether or not they are going to go down and physically sign their name. It's a very old school way of getting legislation done, which means you have to manually collect the signatures. I've heard soft signaling of support from both Hakeem Jeffries and Speaker Johnson. So, you know, if they're both agreeing on something, that it must be internally pretty bad. But we're also seeing that there are members that you would have never expected to come out in support of this, memberships previously of leadership, like Elise Stefanik, that's come out to support this. But I mean, the cross-section of the Congress that's actually supporting this is literally effectively every single faction that exists, from the very progressive to the very conservative to the moderates to the largely libertarian faction. And so I'm looking forward to getting those members on board. And again, it's working with our Democrat colleagues on this. But the consensus bill that I brought forward the discharge on was a bill that over 100 members of Congress have already effectively signed on to support. So to have a bill, a piece of legislation that has that type of support is pretty rare. Right. And so that's exactly why we filed the discharge petition in this brand process.
Awesome.
Be actively waiting to see Nancy Pelosi sign her name to that. That'll probably be the most interesting.
She might, but she's already made a 17,000% return on her investment. So she's, I think, just trying to get out with her reputation, which, she might try to use this, but we all know what she did.
Yeah, too late. Wikipedia announced their top 20 most read English articles of 2025. At the top of that was none other than Charlie Kirk, with more than 44 million searches, topping President Trump and even the new Pope. So what are your thoughts about that? Yeah, that's what?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I am the reason why Charlie's in office. I don't know if you guys know this, but he recruited me instead of going to medical school to work with him and travel the country debating college kids on college campuses. And I did it for about a year, and then he endorsed me and supported me in both my congressional runs. So Charlie was an amazing man. I think that his loss and his assassination really still shocks this country. But we have to remember what happened and who celebrated when he was murdered. And I think that it's important for the American people to realize that, unfortunately, there is a small faction of Americans that are leftists that celebrated his murder, and those people haven't gone away anytime soon. So we need to finish strong, codify what President Trump did, and help continue Charlie's legacy.
It does live on, and just you see, Congresswoman, what is going on college campuses in terms of turning points, expansion, and just its vibrancy, and also what Erica continues to do, and she is such a shining light of grace.
Yeah, it's only going to continue. I mean, shortly after what happened with his assassination, their high school and college chapter request exploded. You know, I was at the vigil. You saw people from all walks of life there, all positions within the administration, within Congress, both the House and the Senate. And so we'll continue to champion what he set out to do. And that's to include get good people elected in Congress.
That's right.
Amen, Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna.